Members of Parliament have found themselves handicapped by a constitutional provision that prevents them from ordering the government to deploy the Kenya Defence Forces to quell the violence in Tana River. The motion had to be amended after members of Parliament were convinced by the Attorney General that all they can do is urge President Mwai Kibaki to act. This comes as the President meets with members of Parliament from the coast region over the situation in Tana Delta.
The Garsen MP Danson Mungatana had moved a motion that had intended to give the green light to President Mwai Kibaki to order the deployment of Kenya Defence Forces to Tana River, since the police and the provincial administration appear to be overwhelmed.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that following the unrest and instability in the Tana Delta for the past few weeks, this House approves the deployment of the Kenya Defence Forces to the Tana Delta.
When the executive is not acting, Parliament is enjoined to act. It is not Parliament that will deploy the army, but we are clearing the way and telling the executive, we expect you to do something extraordinary. We are giving you the green light to deploy the army to back up the rest of the security forces. But we must ensure that they are well coordinated, and that is the work of the Commander-in-Chief.
But the Attorney General, Professor Githu Muigai, told the House that the Constitution gives the power only to the President, the National Security Council and the Defence Council to decide whether and when to deploy the Kenya Defence Forces anywhere in the country or outside.
Parliament, Madam Speaker, has authority to supervise how the executive deploys the armed forces. Parliament has no authority itself to deploy armed forces. We have, Madam Speaker, a separation of powers.
Honorable Attorney General indicated that Parliament cannot in itself initiate deployment of our forces. And that is why I felt probably we need to have a motion, the motion amended to read that following the unrest and instability of the Tana Delta for the past few weeks, this House urges the deployment of the Kenya Defence Forces.
It is supposed to give the head of state as the commander-in-chief of the defense forces an approval. I don't think whether, in terms of the language, you don't urge, unless the member wants to substitute that word. Yes, what is urging?
That the motion be amended. That's the motion be amended by deleting the words approves the deployment of appearing after the word house in the second line and replacing therewith the words urges the government to deploy. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. As many as of a contrary opinion say nay? No. The ayes have it.
The motion went on after MPs agreed to amend the motion to have MPs only urge Kibaki to deploy soldiers to assist the police in Tana River. This is a weakened version of what Mungatana was seeking and will mean that the executive still has the luxury to wait as long as they wish in making a decision about how to intervene in Tana River. Now out in KTN Live at 1.